welcome back to another Elevated Marketing Chat. If you've been with me since 2019, yay! I have been doing these chats once a month. These are my solo cast chats about different types of marketing. And thank you if you've still been listening since 2019. But if you're new to the show, this is where I go solo once a month. If you follow me on other channels, you've probably seen my weekly podcast with Brenna, or you've seen Small Biz Chat, which is also weekly. I think that one, I can't recall. It might be close to 2019 too. Lorraine and I have been hanging out for quite a bit, and I know she's celebrating 1,000 conversations on her podcast that she has, so more than a few words. So if you haven't heard that podcast, certainly go check it out. So today we are going to talk about how to create a successful ad campaign. And if there's anything that I could talk on a whim about, this would definitely be one of those topics. I have been creating ad campaigns, believe it or not, since 2006, but I started in the Yellow Page industry. And so that is where I started. And yes, it was an ad campaign. It was, obviously a different type of ad campaign. And things were a lot simpler back then. Literally, you worked on one campaign for the entire year, and you'd see your clients once a year. Now, it's a lot more often. You literally could be changing campaigns or changing ads on a weekly basis. So from when I first started creating ad campaigns to how things go now, there's certainly a lot that has changed. And I think with anything, when it comes to online, it's the internet. And so sometimes it kind of feels like, well, it's been 5 minutes. Is it working yet? And, it really, that thought process negates like what goes into creating a successful ad program. Um, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. And um, I hope to not bore you today, but I hope to maybe just talk about it so that everybody kind of understands all the steps that if you want to have a successful ad campaign, there's a lot more to it. So I'll still be around for quite a while. No AI taking over building ad campaigns, in my opinion, anytime soon. So first, I just want to bring up that an ad campaign really should align with your overall marketing strategy. So sometimes what I see is that people launch a ad campaign solo, and that's the only type of marketing that they have going on. And that was something several years ago maybe worked, where you built like this like solo landing page and you just drove in leads. And the market has changed a ton. That will not work anymore. You really need to think about how ads plays into all the types of marketing that you're doing. And it's really a time investment, and it's really a multi-channel where you need to understand, if you're going to run an ad campaign, like what kind of email marketing do we have going on? What kind of content marketing do we have going on? Obviously, content marketing, goes into SEO, and If we're talking social ads, then you need to know what organic social media we have going on. You certainly need to understand the messaging of the entire brand. And definitely, you're going to have some remarketing going on, whether that's with email marketing or with ads. And so it all works together. I always like to say that, it's not the last beer that you drink in marketing that gets you drunk, it's all the beers. And all marketing works together. So you certainly can't launch an ad campaign without knowing all the pieces to the puzzle. And basically, what is your strategy or objective with your ad campaign? Because there are lots of different ways to go about it. Some people might be like, well, just to drive leads. And we all want leads. It doesn't matter what type of marketing that you're doing, everybody wants leads. And different types of ad programs do lead to more leads, but some ad programs and strategies basically build more at the top of the funnel to move people down. Um, it's not as simple as turning on a campaign and waiting 5 minutes and being like, okay, do we have leads? You have to think about a lot of other things. So that's things I want to talk about with you today are some of the other things that you need to think about. So, the other thing that you really want to think about is the foundation. And the foundation, in our opinion, is your data setup. And it can be a little time consuming and daunting working with third party tools and making sure that it's all set up. But 9 times out of 10, when we work with different clients, their conversion tracking is not set up. And if you don't understand the conversion tracking, which by the way, Google changed this. So now it's called key events. If you haven't noticed this inside your Google Analytics, it did change. And so if you're not sure, like, what is the desired action of the website, then what are you optimizing for? You have to have all that set up, and you need to make sure that you understand all those metrics. And so there's a lot that kind of goes into that. The next thing I kind of bring up, to make sure you have a successful ad program is that you really know who your audience is. It seems like a no brainer if you're in marketing, but sometimes you see people and they have these like audience targeting, and it's super, super broad. And you don't want to target everybody with ads because sometimes those costs per click are really expensive. And so you just don't have the budget to be all willy nilly throwing out this like large net. And so there needs to be this conversation that really narrows down who your like ideal client is. And that includes demographics and interests and behaviors, but you might develop several different audiences to test, though, um, because it could also switch. And you could have different campaigns. And for this campaign, I'm targeting this type of audience, and for this campaign, I'm targeting this kind of audience. So, certainly no set it and forget it. When it comes to that. And the same thing happens with your messaging. How I talk to one audience versus how I talk to another audience, you know, depends on, the product and the service. And I'm going to probably talk to them differently. And so the creative needs to be different, the copy needs to be different. And there's certainly a lot that goes into testing different creative, different messaging, different audiences. And so there's lots of variables there. And for the sake of today's call, I'm not going into all the metrics that you need to pay attention to with ads, but there are a lot. And we always say that every data point has a story to tell, and that is absolutely true when it comes to your ads. And it's important that your ad agency understands those metrics and is able to optimize based on that. And every time they look at your ads, what's working, what's not, and what are they going to do about it? So, um, all right. So the next thing is having consistency, brand consistency between your ads and your landing page. So, you don't want to have this like ad campaign that they get to the landing page and it's like, whoa, where is this coming from? Like, this doesn't make sense. You spent all that time and effort to get them there, and now, they're not sure what they're looking at. So, it kind of wraps into you have to have a really great landing page. If you don't have a great website, and for a reminder, every page of your website should act like a landing page, then it's not going to work. And so I see a lot of times where people maybe want to go ahead and launch a campaign to a page, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, no, that definitely does not follow the Z pattern. It doesn't have all the elements that you need for creating a good landing page, which we've done a chat on that before, or it's on our website, or I think there's actually a podcast too on that topic. We certainly have talked about it. But from that essence, your landing page should, bring you in at a certain part of the funnel. And then off of that page, I should have the content that answers the questions that I might have about your product or service. And so that's where like your ad campaign sometimes can really play with your SEO. If you don't have both of those. And you know, I think this is where you've seen kind of a marrying of worlds where SEO, it seemed like you would build a page just for SEO purposes and you would build a page just for ad purposes. And I can't disagree with that enough. Um, the consumer wants to absorb the information, and that's what Google's looking for, when it comes to SEO, is they're looking for that engagement. They're not looking for these pages that are built just for SEO. In fact, you might have got hit with the content update on that. So, you need to just do it the right way and build websites that are landing pages that you could drive an ad campaign to and it's going to convert. So, for all those softwares out there that are still working in siloed landing pages, I feel like your days are numbered. I certainly could be wrong, but I'm feeling like that doesn't work anymore. Um, so, you know, as we're kind of talking about this, you need to know what that well-defined path to purchase is. Every consumer goes through it when they are evaluating a product or service. It could be super quick, but it also could be super long. That really plays into the strategy that you build for your Google Ads. Um, there's it plays into your word choices. Like if you're doing pay per click, like with Google Ads, it can play into the funnels that you build within your ad program. So it's definitely something that needs to be paid attention to and considered when you are building your campaigns. Um, so the next one is just your social proof and the content that you have. If you're running social campaigns and you don't have a whole lot of social proof where you've had a lot of engagement on your page, it certainly doesn't make it like you are reputable. It can also affect you if you don't have like a lot of reviews, like on your Google My Business or on your website. And so if that's an aspect that you haven't taken care of in your marketing, it's going to affect whether or not people are going to be willing to move forward. Um, I think anybody that is in marketing knows like it takes, a whole village to get, a successful marketing campaign out the door. And so that's just like one more element to pay attention to. So, lastly, I just want to wrap up with that, even though you've launched a campaign, there is continuous weekly optimization and testing that is going on. So going back to like that data and figuring out, where in the path of the ad, where is it wrong? Like, where are we missing? Like, are they not seeing our ads? Are they not clicking through? Are they not even engaging with it? Are they getting to the landing page, but they're not scrolling down, and on and on and on? There are several things to take a look at, but all those things definitely make it so that you have a successful ad campaign. So I've been talking for 16 minutes and I feel like I could talk a ton more on this topic, but I am going to leave it there. And I'm going to surprise you with what we are going to talk about on the next chat. So look for that to come out. Again, this is once a month. So I enjoy you coming here, even though I don't even know if you're here. Hopefully, you enjoyed this as well. All right. Take care.